So, good morning to all of you. Today we are going to discuss about Young's double slit experiment, which belongs to Unit 3. This note I given in your last class. So figure is this one. I told that you should not be draw the figure because at that time this figure is not clearly visible. But this is the experimental arrangement of Young's double slit experiment. Here double slit means two slits will be present and one screen. See, this is a source. Source means one bulb will be here, and this is two slits or two holes, we can say S1 and S2, two holes or two slits. So the ray, whatever coming from the source, these rays will be travel through this slit and this slit also towards this screen. So this is the screen. We can give the name, that is M and M dash is our screen. Okay. So whatever the ray will be go through this slit S1 and S2, after merging these two rays, they will be fall on this screen. So when these both rays are going to be merged with each other, then we can found the fringes, means somewhere bright, somewhere dark, somewhere bright, somewhere dark. Means on the screen, on this screen, we can found the pattern of dark and bright fringe. Not only dark, not only bright we are going to observe on the screen, we are going to be observe this type of pattern. Means bright, B for bright, D for dark, bright, dark, bright, dark, bright, dark. This type of pattern can be observed. Okay. So this is the basic arrangement of the experimental instrument. Two slits will be there. Here one monochromatic source will be there. So when the light travels through this slit, it will fall upon this screen. So on this screen we can found this type of pattern, this type of geometrical pattern. Somewhere bright, dark fringes we are going to be get. Okay. So here let these two sources are separated by a distance d, small d. This is small d. And the distance between the slit and the screen is capital D. Okay, capital D. So if we are going to draw the perpendicular from S1 to the on the screen and S2 to on the screen, that is A and B, so AO will be D by 2, OB will be D by 2, because this distance from S1 to S2 is D. Okay, from S1 to S2, so you can extend up to this one, S1 to S2. Okay, S1 to this distance is from S1 to S2, from here to here. You have to correctly you have to draw this one. You have to draw from S1 to S2 line, and here arrow mark is small d. Okay. Now from this figure, what will be the path difference between S1p and S2p? S1p and S2p, among both S1p and S2p, which one is the larger distance? Larger distance is S2p. So the path difference between S1p and S2p will be S2p, which is larger, minus S1p, will be how much? Will be del x. Will be del x. If I am going to draw a perpendicular from S1 to here, then this is the extra path traveled by the ray, which is called as the S2p. So path difference between S2p and S1p will be, this is del x. Okay. Okay. Now, on the base of the path difference between the two rays or the conditions, if we are going to be consider between the path difference or on the base of the path difference between S1P and S2P, this P point may be bright, may be dark. On the base of the path difference, this point P may be bright, may be dark. What will be that we are going to be discuss in our whole mathematical derivations. Okay. So these are the basic idea about the diagrammatrical representation of your Young's double slit experiment. So let's start to explain the mathematical derivations. Okay. So the basic things initially it has been written that S1 and S2 are two slits separated by a distance d. Capital D is the distance between two slits, between slits and screen. This is the distance of slits to screen is D. Let consider the P be any point, any arbitrary point, P be the any arbitrary point on the screen where we have to find out that P is the dark or is the bright. P टा डार्क हबो ना ब्राइट हबो सेटा हमें ऑब्जर्व करिया को चेष्टा करिबा बाय मैथमेटिकल डेरिवेशन. ओके. सो recall in our second unit whenever we have been discussed about simple harmonic motion and wave motion, may you have been remember that for a simple harmonic motion or for a wave motion, the wave equation is written in the form of like this. Have you recalled? Y is equal to a sin omega t minus kx. If wave is traveling along x-axis direction, along positive x-axis direction, it can be written as y is equal to a sin omega t minus kx. So many times this expression have been used for many mathematical derivation previously. So here also, if this is a source and light is a electromagnetic wave or light can be represented by a wave equation. So this S1 to P, a wave is traveling like this, a wave like this. Okay. From S to P, light is traveling, that means wave is traveling from S to P. So from S1 slit, let the so-called wave or the two light waves are passed through S1 and S2, or we can say S1 will be act as a source and S2 will be act as another source of light. So for S1, the wave equation will be, let the wave equation will be R1 sin omega t minus kx, where R1 is the amplitude when the light coming out from the S1, and Y2 is the wave equation, that is R2 sin omega t minus kx minus phi. That means this is the wave equation when the wave is traveling from this source S2, and its equation is R2 sin omega t minus kx minus phi, where R2 is the amplitude of the wave which is passing through this slit S2, and here phi is the phase difference between the two waves. If path difference is there, 100% phase difference will be there. Let that phase difference is phi. Now from the figure we have been discussed that the path difference between S1 and S2, S1P and S2P will be del x. That is S2P minus S1P, that is the path difference between two rays. So hence phase difference we know that phi is equal to 2 pi by lambda, its corresponding path difference. Hence the phase difference between the two rays will be 2 pi by lambda into path difference. Okay. Now at P, both the rays are superimposed with each other. Clearly it can be understood that a ray is traveling from here and another ray is traveling from here. So at this point the intensity will be the resultant intensity of this ray and this ray. That means suppose we can consider like this. That means at S1 one torch is there and S2 is another torch, like this. This is a one torch, this is another torch. So two torch have two waves. Suppose this is a one torch, this is another torch at S1 and S2. So the resultant intensity at P will be the superimposed due to the superimposition of this ray and this ray. The light is coming from here, light is coming from here. So at point P will be the resultant of this both rays or both light. Okay. So at point P the resultant intensity will be the superposition or resultant of both the rays. So hence at point P we have to consider the superposition of two waves. So initially we have been considered y equal to this one, y2 is equal to this one. So at point P, now the superposition principle, according to superposition principle, the y will be y1 plus y2. That means at point P the resultant intensity or the resultant observation will be y1 plus y2. The y1 is r1 sin omega t minus kx and y2 is r2 sin omega t minus kx minus phi. So here we have been considered sin a plus b, sin a minus b. Suppose if this is a and this is b, omega t minus kx is a and phi is b. So sin a minus b will be sin a into cos b minus sin a into cos b. Sin a into cos b minus sin a into cos sin b into cos a. Okay. So this will be r2. This is the same. This is the r2 sin omega t minus kx into cos phi minus r2 sin phi into cos omega t. This is omega t. Okay. This is omega t. Omega t minus kx. So here we can take common sin omega t. This is from this term, and from this term we can take common sin omega t. If we take common sin omega t, then it will be r1 plus r2 cos phi. Okay. So like that, after taking common, we got sin omega t into r1 plus r2 cos phi minus r2 sin phi into cos omega t minus kx. Okay. Now let r cos alpha equal to r1 plus r2 cos phi. This is considered as r cos alpha, and r2 sin phi is considered as r sin alpha. Hence this equation can be written as y equal to sin omega t minus kx r cos alpha minus cos omega t minus kx into r sin alpha. That implies y equal to r sin omega t minus kx minus alpha. Let this equation number is 3. Now comparing equation number 1, 2 and 3, it can be observed that now considering equation number 1, 2 and 3, this is 1, 2 and 3. So this is the equation number 2. You have to write this is the equation number 2. Equation number 2. Correct your note where I am correcting. Okay. So this is the equation number 2. So from equation number 1, 2 and 3, it can be observed that the resultant wave, this is the resultant wave equation, have same frequency and same wavelength but different amplitude. See, initially we have the two equations, that is omega t minus kx, omega t minus kx minus phi. Here omega means 2 pi by t, k means 2 pi by lambda, and here same, omega is 2 pi by t, omega is 2 pi by large t, 2 pi by lambda, k is 2 pi by lambda. So previously wavelength and after superimposed wavelength is same, and previously frequency is 1 by t, and after superimpose the same, also same frequency. But amplitude, previously for S1 slit it was R1, for S2 slit it was R2, for S1 slit it was R1, for S2 it was R2. But after superimpose of these two waves, we found the resultant amplitude is R. So now calculation for resultant amplitude. Squaring I and 2i and add. Wait, 1 second, wait. Here I done a small mistake, that this is not 1, this is equation number I. Correct it, okay? This is equation number I, this is equation number 2i. Now you have to tell, sir, 1 and 2 equation is where? 1 and 2 equation is this one. Okay. This is equation number 1, this is equation number 2. Correct it. Okay. This is equation number 1, this is equation number 2. This is equation number I, 2i, and this is equation number 3. Okay. Okay. So now for the calculation of resultant amplitude R, squaring I and 2i and add them. Now square this is I, this is I and 2i. Square this equation and add up. So it will be r square cos square alpha, left hand side r square sin square alpha. So left hand will be r square will be take common, cos square alpha plus sin square alpha. Right hand side r plus r2 cos phi rho whole square plus r2 square sin square phi. So it will be 1. So left hand side will be r square, then it will be a plus b square, r1 square plus r2 square cos square phi plus 2 r1 r2 cos phi plus r2 square sin square phi. So r2 square cos square phi, r2 square sin square phi. So it will be r2 square. So now r1 square, see this term and this term, if we are going to take r2 square common, then our cos square phi plus sin square phi will be 1. So hence r1 square, r2 square plus 2 r1 r2 cos phi. So that implies r square is equal to, sorry, it will be r. That implies r equal to r square plus r2 square plus 2 r1 r2 cos phi to the power 1 by 2 root over or root over. Okay. But we know that amplitude square is proportional to the intensity. It is well known that intensity is directly proportional to the amplitude square. So that implies I, intensity, directly proportional to r square. That implies I equal to some constant k r square. So for slit 1, if we are going to consider the intensity is I1, hence for slit 1 amplitude was how much? R1. For slit 2 amplitude was R2. So hence for slit 1 intensity can be written as I1. See, this I1 is subscript. This 1 is in the subscript. I subscript of 1. You should not be write I1. This is not correct. This is correct. So here also same thing. R1, R2, wherever it has been written, R1, R2, all are in subscript format. This is means in subscript 1. This is correct. But R1, this format is wrong. Okay. So here also I1 is subscript format. R1 is in subscript. 1 is at subscript. Okay. So I1 will be equal to K R1 square. I2 equal to K R2 square. Okay. This is, you have to put first, this is equation number 4. Okay. So, and I1 we got K1 square, I2 we got K2 square, and this is equation number 4. Now, equation number 4 will be how much? I equal to K R square. K R square is equal to K into R square is how much? R1 square plus R2 square plus 2R1 R2 cos phi. So K R square means K into R1 square plus K R2 square plus 2R1 R2 into cos phi. So K got cancelled. That implies I or K R square is nothing but I. As from the equation number 4, K R square is I, and here K R1 square is I1, K R1 square is I1, K R2 square is I2 plus 2 into R1 R2. See, as I1 is equal to K R1, so that implies I1 root over is equal to root over of K R1. Yes or no? Yes. So that means okay, so I1 root over is equal to root over of K into R1. Likewise, I2 root over will be K into R2. Okay. So here K R1 square is equal to I1, K R2 square is equal to I2, K into R1 into R2. Okay. So this K can be written as root over of K into root over of K. And root over of K R1, root over of K R1, root over of K R1 is how much? I1 root over, same thing, root over of K, I2 root over cos phi. Got it? Now, that implies I equal to, can be written as I1, this is I1, okay? This is I1, it is written as I1 plus I2 root over, I1 root over plus I2 root over square. So this much can be written in this format, that I1 root over square plus I2 root over square plus 2 into root over of I1 into root over of I2 into cos phi. So this is nothing but this one I1, okay? I1, this is I1, I1 root over plus I2 root over whole square, okay? For cos phi is equal to 1. For cos phi, if cos phi is 1, then it will be I1 root over plus I2 root over square. So if cos phi will be 1, then it will be I1 root over plus I2 root over square. If cos phi is minus 1, then it will be I1 root over minus I2 root over square. Okay, got it? So now, here I1 root over plus I2 root over whole square. For the condition if cos phi equal to 1, and I also I1 root over minus I2 root over to the power square if cos phi is minus 1. So here two things can be possible on the base of phase angle. So if cos phi, if phase angle is equal to 0, then cos phi equal to 1. If the phase angle is equal to pi, then it will be minus 1. So on the base of the phase angle, the intensity can be add up, the resultant intensity at point P, or the resultant intensity can be subtracted on the base of the phase angle. Consider the next page, that so now whenever the two intensity will be add, then the resultant intensity will be increased, obviously. If the two intensities is going to be subtract with each other, then obviously the intensity will be reduced. If the two waves, whatever we have been considered here, S1 and S2, if the two waves have same amplitude and they are going to be add up with each other, then the resultant amplitude will be double. If the same amplitude they are going to be subtract, then the resultant intensity will be 0. Likewise, so on the base of the phase angle, we can found the increasing of the intensity or decreasing of the intensity. So on the base of that, if increasing intensity, that will be called as the so-called constructive interference, means constructive superimposed with each other. The two waves superimpose in such a way that then its resultant intensity will be increases. That is nothing but called as your constructive interference. So in the interference for which intensity maximum or increases is called as constructive interference. अतएव I max will be equal to I1 root over plus I2 root over square, where cos phi is equal to 1. For the condition cos phi is equal to 1, phi is equal to 2n pi, n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, ... So here phi is even multiplication of pi. Okay, the corresponding path difference will be how much? The corresponding path difference, because we know that phi is nothing but phase difference is nothing but 2 pi by lambda. Here you have to write 2 pi by lambda. It is mistakenly it has been written. You have to write 2 pi. This is 2 pi. This is 2 pi, not 3 pi. Okay. This is 2 pi. This is 2 pi. Okay. This is 2 pi. So 2 pi by lambda into path difference. So phi is nothing but plus or minus 2n pi. So plus or minus 2n pi will be equal to 2 pi by lambda into path difference. Hence path difference will be plus or minus n lambda. This expression is important that you have to remember. Okay. Next, for destructive interference or the minimum intensity we can found when both the intensity is going to be subtract with each other. So I1 root over of I1 minus root over of I2 square. Okay, the intensity is minimum. And for the condition cos phi is equal to minus 1. So cos phi is equal to minus 1 means phi equal to plus or minus 2n plus 1 pi. Odd multiplication of pi, where n is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Likewise, here also we can found the corresponding path difference. So phase difference is nothing but plus or minus 2n plus 1 is equal to corresponding formula is 2 pi. The phase difference is 2 pi lambda into path difference. So that implies del x is equal to the pi got cancelled. The del x will be plus or minus 2n plus 1 by 2 into lambda. Okay. So or plus or minus n plus 1 by 2 into lambda. The so called path difference, corresponding path difference will be plus or minus n plus 1 by 2 into lambda. Okay. So for constructive interference, we found the phase difference has to be plus or minus n lambda, and destructive interference, for destructive, the condition is phi is equal to plus or minus 2n plus 1 lambda by 2. So now if R1 and R2 will be the same and it will be 1, then R maximum will be how much? R maximum will be I1 root over plus I2 root over whole square. We know that I1 is equal to KR plus KR root over, like this. So it will be root over of K. If we are going to take common, then it will K, and it will 2R, then it will be K 4 pi R square. And I minimum, if I1, R1, R2 equal to R, then I minimum equal to 0. Okay, up to this much today we have been discussed, and tomorrow or next class we have to discuss from this. Okay, from the graph we have to discuss from the next class. So today what you are going to do, today you first draw the figure. I am going to be upload this figure when the class will be start. Draw the figure in your living space where you have been in that day you have been left the space that in there you have to draw your figure. Then each and every step in the video you have to follow and correct your note accordingly and complete today's work. Okay, thank you.